The View's studio had seen its fair share of heated discussions over the year's elections, celebrity feuds, cultural flashpoints, but that morning, the air was charged in a way that felt a broken bar different. Cameras hadn't even started rolling yet, and producers were already whispering behind the curtains like they were bracing for a storm. It was Michael B. Jordan Day. He was coming on under the shadow of a viral controversy, a passionate speech he had made at the Sundance Film Festival calling out the two-faced nature of Hollywood, targeting everything from casting politics to behind-the-scenes power structures. His words had earned him massive support online but just as many enemies in elite circles. One of those critics, it was rumored, was none other than Whoopi Goldberg herself. Backstage, Whoopi sat silent in her dressing room. A worn copy of James Baldwin's The Fire Next Time sat unopened on her lap as she stared at the mirror, tapping her fingers on the armrest. She didn't like the narrative being spun. She didn't like that he was coming to her show to further it. 10 seconds to go, came a voice through the speaker. As the intro music played, the hosts walked out one by one. Joy. Sunny. Alyssa. Whoopi. The crowd roared. Then, right on cue, Michael B. Jordan stepped onto the set, oozing quiet intensity in a tailored charcoal suit and polished shoes that clicked softly against the floor. He smiled and nodded to the audience, then turned to the panel. Joy Behar extended her hand. "Welcome back to The View, Michael." He shook it firmly. "Thanks, Joy. Good to be here." Everyone noticed Ida when he reached Whoopi. There was no handshake. Just a nod. She responded with an arch of her eyebrow, barely perceptible, but it hung in the air like a warning. Once the pleasantries ended, the show wasted no time diving in. Joy led with the elephant in the room. "So Michael, your speech at Sundance has stirred up a whirlwind. You sta and I quote a Hollywood wears diversity like a costume, but behind the curtain, it's the same old faces pulling the strings. Some say that was brave. Others think it was reckless. What exactly did you mean?" Michael didn't flinch. "I meant every word," he said. "I've been in this industry for over 2 decades. I've seen the way certain stories get greenlit and others don't. I've seen how actors of color are embraced until they ask for creative control. People love the image of progress, but when it comes to actual power, executive decisions, producing authority, directing opportunity, it's still a closed door for many of us." The audience gave the scattered applause. Before Joy could follow up, Whoopi leaned in, voice slow and deliberate. "Michaela Brokenbar, you're incredibly talented. You've starred in blockbusters. Produced award-winning work. You're one of the most bankable actors in Hollywood. And yet, you sit here acting like you've been completely boxed out." Michael's eyes narrowed. "I'm not acting like anything. I'm speaking to what I've experienced and what I've seen others go through. This isn't just about me." "You say that," Whoopi replied, "but your words have consequences. When you paint the entire industry with that brush, you erase the progress people have made. You discredit the work of black directors, writers, producers who are finally getting seats at the table." Michael's jaw tightened. "With all due respect, Whoopi, just getting a seat doesn't mean the table's fair. I've produced films that studios tried to bury, even after test audiences loved them. I've seen directors passed over because they didn't have a right look. There's progress, but there's also pretense." "Let me ask you something," Whoopi said, her voice now carrying that unmistakable edge. "Do you think coming here and blasting the industry helps? Or does it make you look like someone biting the hand that fed you?" Michael's nostrils flared slightly, but he kept his composure. "It's not about biting the hand. It's about asking why the hand still holds the leash. Why do we have to be grateful for basic respect? For fair treatment? I don't toe the system silence just because I managed to succeed in it. That's the trap." The crowd murmured, some gasps, some claps. The tension was climbing like a drum line hitting its crescendo. Alyssa Fairgriffin jumped in, trying to mediate. "Let's not forget, Michael has used his platform to elevate a lot of voices. Just Mercy put the spotlight on wrongful incarceration. Creed 3 gave young black actors and directors major opportunity. Whoopi interrupted, sharp. And I respect that. But don't come in here throwing grenades without acknowledging who helped clear the path before you. People like Sidney Poitier, Spike Lee, hell, even me fought tooth and nail so this next generation could walk through those doors. Michael leaned forward now, voice rising. And I honor that legacy. But honoring the past doesn't mean ignoring the cracks in the present. You of all people should understand that. There was a long pause. You could hear the stage lights hum. Then Whoopi said, "Watch your tone." A hush fell across the audience. Even Joy stopped mid-breath. Michael looked stunned for a second. Then he said, with quiet defiance, "Number. I won't watch my tone. Not when we're talking about truth." That was the tipping point. Producers were now in full panic mode behind the cameras. One of them signaled a commercial break. The music swelled awkwardly as the segment ended mid-sentence, the camera cutting to the audience clapping uncomfortably. The moment the cameras went dark, things got even more heated. Whoopi stood up. "You're not gonna come on my show and lecture me about truth, young man." Michael stood too, a head taller but still calm. "I didn't come to lecture. I came to challenge what's easy to ignore." "That's it," barked the showrunner, rushing onto set. "Michael, I'm sorry but we're going to have to cut the rest of your segment. We'll air a rerun for the final slot." Michael shook his head in disbelief. Wow. Censorship in real time. Security discreetly appeared near the studio's side exit, not aggressive, but clearly not optional. He straightened his jacket, glanced back at Whoopi one last